What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today it's more of a sit down and talk and explain video for you guys as to what the hell is going on with PC part prices in 2018. Should you wait to buy a PC? Is now a better time to buy a console than build your own PC? What the heck is going on? And sort of respond and address some of the comments I've had going, James, you're a scammer, James, you're a liar, this $500 bill's now $800, I hate you, and literally absolutely ridiculous stuff that I've seen in some of the older videos with more kind of out-to-date pricing. So why is 2018 so expensive to build a system? Let's dive in and take a peek. Now, the main reason that building a PC has become so expensive is due to two main parts skyrocketing in price. The first is memory or RAM. To give you a real world example, about 2 years ago now when I built my X99 system, God, that was a while ago, I bought 32 gigs of DDR4 memory from Corsair. I got it on Amazon.co.uk, I believe, at that time, and I bought 32 gigs of DDR4. I bought it for about £110, £120. If I can find the order, I'll put it on screen here. And that was about the going rate for DDR4 at that time. Now, if you're looking for a 32 gig kit of exactly the same RAM at exactly the same speed, you're looking at between £250 and £400, roughly the same equated to US dollars as well, which is mental to think about. Now, there's a couple of reasons for this. Now, it's actually gone as extreme that two memory manufacturers in China have been investigated, I believe, over price fixing of memory, which is mental, and hopefully we'll see the result of that soon and maybe some prices going down. But don't be surprised if they don't go down, and that's because of the massively increased demand for DDR4 memory. Just a couple of years ago now, DDR4 was fairly new, and it wasn't really that highly adopted, so there was been a lot of it made in anticipation that the technology was of course going to blow up. The new iterations of memory technology are of course going to be massive and highly utilised, but in their early days they're not using things like phones. I believe it's the OnePlus 5T is like 8 gigs of DDR4, and you can see how that's chewing up memory allocation. It's the same when you look at Samsung, when you look at the iPhones. Phones from LG, the Google Pixel, the Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL are all devices that use DDR4 memory and are thus kind of depleting the amount of memory available to you as a consumer. Now, RAM pricing aside, what's the other thing that's making PC prices so expensive? Graphics cards. Now, graphics card pricing has been mental for a completely different reason. One word: cryptocurrency. Now, for those of you that don't know, cryptocurrencies have become massive over the past particularly 12 months now. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin are probably names that you will have heard previously. And for those of you that don't know, I imagine most of you will, so I'll keep this concise and simple. But cryptocurrencies are essentially like a normal currency, like pounds or dollars, but aren't controlled by any government. Instead, they're controlled solely online. The governments have no control over them, they're not tied to a country, and thus they can be very volatile. But why has cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum or Litecoin led to the massive skyrocketing price of graphics cards? Now, that's actually because you can use graphics cards, particularly those from the AMD side, to quote unquote mine these cryptocurrencies. What these graphics cards are able to do is they're able to actually search basically loads of combinations of letters and numbers, so strings, and try and find ones that match up to untaken chunks of Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ethereum, for example, which you can then mine, and people are then able to acquire such amounts of these cryptocurrencies. Now, you might think, well, a few people trying to get some Bitcoin on the cheap, that's alright, that's not going to affect things too badly. This is on an unprecedented scale. I'm aware I sound like one of those newsreaders who's trying desperately to get as many ratings as possible. However, it's true, there's people with whole warehouses full of like AMD RX 4 or 580s that are trying to mine these things, and I think it was a government or a news outlet that actually said this could be massively contributing to global warming, which is perhaps a slight exaggeration, but to think it's got to that level is just completely bonkers. There's now such a massive market for cryptocurrencies that people like Asus have jumped on the bandwagon and made motherboards that actually have loads and loads of graphics card PCIe slot connections on them to allow you to run as many graphics cards on one motherboard as possible. Because CPU power isn't really an issue. You don't really care if it's a high power CPU, and unlike in gaming, the graphics cards don't need the full bandwidth that a slot can provide. They just need a connection to the computer. In fact, many people have been running graphics cards off like USB 3 ports on computers to cram as many GPUs into one system as they possibly can. And those really are the two main contributing factors as to why graphics card pricing has been ridiculous. Which begs the question, are you better off picking up a PS4 Pro or Xbox One X instead at this moment, instead of a PC? And you may well be. But you might be asking, well, why hasn't the price on these just shot up as well? Now, there's a couple of reasons for that. Now many companies, they do it in the aviation industry, airlines do it, hedge pricing. So on stuff like memory, it's very possible, I can't confirm any of this, that Sony or Microsoft will hedge pricing on memory, so they'll buy absolutely crap loads of this memory at a set price, or make an agreement with the manufacturer to buy memory at a set price for the next year or 18 months. Now what that means is that if the price of memory goes down, or in the aviation analogy, the price of plane fuel goes down, it means they still have to pay the price that they hedged it at. So it can be a bit of a lose-lose situation. However, if prices go up, they keep the lower prices and are able to offer better value to the consumer. On the graphics card side, graphics cards, the graphics chips are made by AMD for both the Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and the X and Pro versions. They're actually completely specialised graphics chips that are made specifically for these consoles. So an agreement will have been reached, no doubt, in the negotiation stage between AMD and the console manufacturers to buy these graphics chips at a set price that then goes up or down accordingly each year. Cryptocurrency doesn't really affect that side of things. So with that being said, is this bubble likely to burst anytime soon? Memory pricing, I'm a bit 50-50 on. If these allegations of price fixing do come to be true, then a drop in memory pricing could be almost instantaneous in the next 6 months or so. It could just be completely overnight. However, there is a valid argument for high memory demand. Graphics cards, on the other hand, cryptocurrencies don't really seem to show any signs of slowing down. Bitcoin has lost quite a lot of value and quite a lot of interest recently, but the other cryptocurrencies certainly haven't. And the interest in cryptocurrencies is still there. The pricing is still absolutely ridiculous, and the amount of money that can be made is unreal. You can't blame really AMD or Nvidia for these graphics card pricing, because often it's out of their control. It's often retailers that are taking the piss out of you and not the graphics card manufacturers themselves. I hope that sort of explains to everyone why pricing has been absolutely mental and why so many of my builds have gone up by like 50% in price. It is a shame that prices are where they are. However, you can bitch and moan at cryptocurrency miners all you like, but if you had $1,000 sitting in your bank account lying just to be spent, then the chances are cryptocurrency is not a bad investment to make if you know what you're doing. If you enjoyed this video, you found it helpful, you found it useful, it explained something, smash that like button, subscribe for more, make sure to turn on push notifications so you never miss another video, and as always, we'll see you in the next GeekaWhat video.